Okay, Fambulele Kabinese. Hello, Cornelius. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can get you, my brother.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, Fambulele Kabinese. The long-awaited moment is here. Every beginning has got an end. And here we are this afternoon as we promised tuna. We go bring the man himself, Mr. Cornelius Deveaux. So once again, Fambulem, I think we're just 10 minutes into the program. That is not really anything much. But Fambulem, finally, here we are. 1 year ago today, this is a very, very auspicious day and emotional for some people, and I guess with the guests as well. But 1 year ago to D-Day today, the All People's Congress Party came, the headquarters of the All People's Congress Party came under siege. I know I use that word and some people find it difficult for wrap themselves around it, but I use them deliberately. So you go get for tell me otherwise why it wasn't a siege, as we understand them inside the English lexicon. So I stand by that, obviously. So on that day, a lot of things happened. One of the critical moments and very high personality who was there and got caught up somehow in the brawl that ensued was none other than a former deputy minister of information and broadcasting and the party's national publicity secretary. So the man is a heavyweight. The man is a stakeholder. The man will know exactly waiting me to go on, probably up to the time we left. So today, we are proud to present to you, ladies and gentlemen, none other but Mr. Cornelius Deveaux. Cornelius, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother, and a very good evening to listeners and viewers across the world.
Thank you very much, sir. Just to go straight to the point, exactly 1 year ago today, like I do na the introduction, something actually happened na the party head offices na Freetown. And obviously, 1 year on, we've heard a lot of stories, but some of us are still in the dark as to what happened. Waiting, I go one for let you do here, if you can, please, is for Giwi a bird's eye view, not on the day itself, but waiting transpire from the beginning of that day. We no one go beyond, but waiting transpire from the beginning of that day, leading to the incident to which you were arrested. How did things begin to unfold on that fateful day, sir?
Well, thank you very much, my brother, Prince. You will recall, and I shall say, the listeners also will recall that quite recently, His Excellency the President, while he been wrongly described the All People's Congress and its members as a gang of terrorists, we indeed say that the APC and a member them know they use democratic means for express things the way they wish for protest against. But I go on for make people they know say, waiting the president they talk so, not true, because last year, May 30 and 31, now these them way members, supporters of the APC them come together and say, let we put them 2 days then day aside and let we encourage, we members them and we supporters them all over the world for let we put on red. And when you put on red as a sign of protest against the way with the government they continue for violate the Constitution, the way with the government they continue for terrorize democracy, as we see in a sitting government minister openly destroying election materials in full view of the public. We want for protest against the continued sacking of people perceived to be APC and Northwesterners. we want for continue for protest against the bad economic policies, them, bad government policies, them, where they drive away investors, where they drive away businesses, close down businesses. And they definitely contribute to the rising speed of unemployment across the country. So we been believe, say, from where this government been in 2018, all of them things they are willing to do, and not go born good picking, and it affect the country. So as citizens then, we choose for protest against them things they will feel say not correct. And on that day, we see whilst we peacefully choose for protest because we not ever invite people for converge. There is an interview done on CTN radio on the very Thursday morning, which clearly states how the party be intend for go about conducting itself. Then 2 days the day. And one way was that we know they converge, all man they go about in business, but just were read as a sign of protest against what the government is doing that is not correct. And when we choose for exercise that democratic right and freedom, the government send police them together with camajors dressed in police uniform. And then conduct an onslaught where that one day, you will say a very similar to what will be happening where they been put people them in the gas chamber. People were holed up in the party office, an enclosed building. We only have one main entrance, and the police, after barricading the precinct, block the entrance, and we are firing tear gas right into the building on every floor with impunity. What will make the police fire tear gas per that day, apart from the fact that previous days before then, the police been done, they unceremoniously deploy personnel them around the office. And the Secretary General, they ask the Deputy Inspector General then as to the reason why. And he assured the Secretary General that that deployment was not to his knowledge, Yes, and these are things we have evidence for. And that should we see any further police deployment around the precinct of party office, let we not hesitate for informal. Whether deliberate or coincidental, the election petition cases then we been done lag in the court. We then cases then the court be supposed for to allow for die a natural death because of its own negligence. And that is to say, while it is true that if any citizen see reason for petition an election, they get the right for do so. And the electoral laws and the 1991 Constitution give that right, but also spell out clearly as to how for go about for look into them petitions then they. After the 2018 elections, both APC and SLPP petitioned themselves. And even though the law says such petitions for be looked into within 4 months, the judiciary failed for list them case they for hearing. And after the 4 months, though long elapse, 1 year in office, they list their case, then they go through, and the case that with the list, that the case them only against APC MPs, go through them speedily and coincide May 31, we will be slate as read as the day we then will give ruling on the case then day. So on that Friday morning, when we arrived at the party office, we see scores of police personnel. And then when the Secretary General contacted the Inspector General, he said it was not of his knowledge. So that was where, and then we suspected those people in police uniform to be carnagers, because the Deputy Inspector General had denied knowledge of deploying police personnel to the office. And he did confirm that with the Secretary General on that morning. But we are not perturbed. We were not moved, not at all. So the atmosphere was serene. People who were at the party office were worried. A lot of our supporters were at the court. So we were at the party office monitoring the judicial outcome on the television. And the first announcement came that Usman Adel Timbo had lost his seat. People burst into wailing and tears. Then the next announcement came that Sherifu Kiru of blessed memory has also lost his seat.
Sorry, Cornelius, these announcements all were coming within that same day where Unadina party office on the Friday morning. Okay.
On the Friday morning. On the Friday morning. And then the announcement came that General Ramadan Ba, who is the member of parliament for that particular constituency where the party headquarters is located, was successful to retain his seat. That announcement transformed the wailing and crying into a spontaneous outburst of joy. It was there and then. It was there and then that some boys suspected to be dogs of the SLPP who had been harbored in a building that is not far away from the party office, which is known to be the rendezvous of one Charlie Bio, who contested at the parliamentary elections on the ticket of the SLPP, and been very hopeful, say, like how they don't plan, now say they go pull all the SMP there, they may for pull Cherno, and like how the other SLPP MP them back, themselves they don't have hope, they don't get them hitbox, They don't get them gang, then they are shabby, then go. Now, so himself, we don't get there ready. But when the announcement not come in favor, those boys started throwing stones at the party office and advancing towards the party office. And when the few people who were at the party office, attempted to protect themselves, protect the party office, then these people in police uniform, while they begin open tear gas. When I see the video there, they fight tear gas, they see the party office self. Now so tear gas they see. How can a government treat its own people so? Even its worst enemy, how can a government charged with the responsibility to safeguard its people, how can they treat their own people so? And we own them never suppress democratic freedoms. We not pull no APC, SLPP, MP in the parliament. Right. That's all good in the talk about Ansu, and that one sitting at Kaila, and that one sitting at Kenema. This, the SLPP people them petition, SLPP people them, not to APC petition, SLPP person.
Okay. Obviously, Fambule Muna will not join the program. I ask Muna again for spread this video far and wide. The conversation here this afternoon, this morning, this evening is very, very critical and important. It's good, like we name them, that you go here read the story. This is why we give the guest the platform for let it just flow, because we all, I believe, are interested in the story, regardless of which part of the political argument you belong to. This is quite important on what transpired on that day 1 year ago today. And this is what we are talking about. And the man with the platform here this evening, this afternoon, this morning is none other than Mr. Cornelius Deveaux, where they give you a first-hand information from your own side how things unfold. Remember, INSEF Bindede. So when I really explain, you get this lengthy time now, because we say we will be hearing this story from the horse's mouth himself, and we get none other but Mr. Cornelius. So Cornelius, all of this way you don't explain is quite understood, and we're really thankful because you don't build the story, you're leading to waiting transpire. So now, part of the pictures they will be they see, you were sort of engaging people who were around there, and pictures and they live for everybody for see. One of them did on the background right now where you will engage people in day. And how come you became embroiled in a brawl with police to a point where we believe you got arrested? How did this happen? How did this happen?
Well, first of all, I don't think I was arrested.
Okay.
Yes, the journalist says somebody has been arrested, Cornelius Deveaux has been arrested, but that was his own interpretation of what he see. What the people in the see so. When we be inside, they don't fight tear gas power. They don't fight tear gas power. At some point, nobody no be know what's in the happen. The one whole world no be know. Because waiting AYV been the show on television. Now waiting made it happen at the court.
Right.
So now I had to take the telephone and call AYV. And AYV came to the scene. When AYV came to the scene, I do an interview with AYV. Then, because journalism don't come, the shooting of the tear gas, the less and small.
Right.
So when I can't conduct this interview with AYV. By the time they done the interview, the police then begin fire tear gas back into the building. So you go see one video where Atimapa asked me an up so. And I think say you go agree with me say in a confrontation where somebody don't ACN up. The man where they enforce the law for no say, that man with don't ACN up has already surrendered. He is calling for a truce, he is calling for a peace.
Yeah.
It was a very clear signal, except people that want for pretend not to understand that.
Yeah.
But the police continue for fire. And then one police come, he can buckle me. He say, Ingo arrest me. Now I say, you don't need for buckle me. I say, if you want arrest me, tell me that me you dey go. You don't need for buckle me. So I only am the guy say so. I said, no, take your hand off. You don't need for buckle me. You don't need for buckle me. Take your hand off. Then several other police then come. They want come for can jog me for. I say they want fed for can you go? I say no. I say I don't need for do all this. Una left me. Let me una go. What's una want do all this for? Then from the background, they fire tear gas into we.
Yep.
And I should say people and see that picture they back. So all of the police them around me, they not be wear protective gear. They not be wear face mask. So the tear gas man are we all. So because the tear gas man are we all man get for one for your survival.
Oh, okay, that's quite critical. That's quite critical, Cornelius, because there are a lot of people. I mean, this you see, this is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for interjecting, because it excites me a little bit, because this point many people be want to know how you manage for escape. You know, you're from under that grip, that solid grip, where the policeman be no hold you. Okay, just continue, please.
Yeah. So now the tear gas will fire. You understand? Now, one great police be wear mask. So when all the one that will be don't cancel around me, when no way mask don't want go, he self left me. So if they left me that moment, who's how you feel say, whose direction you feel say me go on go? You feel say I go on go towards the direction, who's how the police motor car park, let them go fire me? Or I go on go towards my party office, who's how I feel say I go get proper security. I went to my party office. Right. So that is why I say I was never arrested. Because if the police be really will arrest me, when I tell her, I say left.
All right, I think we don't lost volume from we guessed. Cornelius, if you hear me, you will just hold on right there. I think your internet, they kind of play up. It's no problem. Let's see whether we can solve that problem quickly. Let's see whether we can solve that problem very, very quickly. If I'm from the area, you'll be out with me. Me guesting internet service, obviously they play up. Loss we guessed briefly, and I go understand under strenuous circumstances. So they are gonna bear with me. Let's see whether we'll connect. Okay, I think he's back. I'm hearing some sound. Let's just have a quick look and ensure that he is back. Cornelius, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, please continue. We lost you briefly. I think the internet, they become a bit shaky, but you're back anyway. Continue, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So like I say, that is why I say I was not arrested.
Right.
But on that day, the police conduct themselves in the most despicable manner, unbefitting people them with taxpayers' money, they upkeep their welfare. We see police drunk, shooting and firing at random. We see that they broke into offices, them stalls them at the party office, then they cut away computers, paper, documents, phone, bag. They want to sell their half market self, then kill all the go. We get them pictures today. And today, members of the All People's Congress across the world, we decide back, say, we for commemorate May 31. Not simply because now the day we the SLPP killed democracy by removing 10 constitutionally elected members of parliament and replacing them with strangers in the well of parliament, but also for we make the SLPP no see. We have challenged you to provide your evidence in calling us terrorists. Now we are showing you the evidence we have against you for acting like terrorists against us. As
okay.
Peaceful.
Cornelius, make a pause you there, sir, if you don't really mind, because we are coming up to that. We come up to that because this sounds like most recent, which for send message to people and that you are very current of what's going back home, even you're from far, even though you continue to stay far away from home, you're still connected and you obviously know what's going to go on. I want to go back again because the idea is we commemorate this day to waiting happened 1 year ago at the party head office. Because I want to put many things to rest at this particular point. So even though you don't provide, like a so real narrative of what happened, because you are an eyewitness. If there was an inquiry, a police inquiry or whatever, sure enough, one person will then go someone for suppose for can explain what you see as per your witnessing.
And that is why I'm one of the prosecuting witness when we go to the ICC.
Wow, so that's another case to the ICC. That's another bomb now you don't drop. So okay, we'll come to that. This is getting more and more interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I told you so. With hear from the man himself. For them one, we just the join look, we are about almost the approach 100. Do you are 100 times 2 or 88 times 2? That's almost 200. That's what we want for people there for doing the platform. And let we keep the arguments in the chat room really civil. We can disagree for agree. After all, we all fall under the same green, white, and blue, despite our political affiliation and philosophies. Mr. Deveaux, I want to go back to the office. Many things, were said on the day, obviously, by people who saw that they used some really hard languages, miscreants, antagonists, things like that. But of course, the Sierra Leonean people themselves go decide because they did see on the day waiting happen, they see after waiting happen. But for those who continue for peddle some of the story, then like fake blood and all kinds of things like it not really happen when it happened. Whose kind of word will you get for them?
I think the pictures are very clear.
Yeah.
The pictures are very clear. A picture is worth millions of words. So no amount of word, no the way I will talk now, we convincing than the pictures them. Right. And therefore, I stand for challenge the SLPP then. If una say now we force block tweet,
yeah.
If una say now we be the stood, una provide pictures. Una provide pictures of the evidence because we see say una been get policeman and they will be the take picture, una been get policeman they will be in the fire, una been get policeman we get popo bag, we now they pass the tear gas, they get the other one say get popo bag, now they get that the empty canister I put her inside it.
Yeah.
So it was the police go there, it was a properly planned operation.
Yeah.
It was a properly planned operation. So I should say, a police would conduct himself within institutional limits with befitting standard operating procedures. go ensure that they get full documentary of any operations we then they conduct.
Okay,
so
Mr. Deveaux.
For those who get different story, provide the evidence to corroborate within you they say the way different from within the pictures they're all over social media today. Don't show.
Okay, thank you very much. Just before I go to the next question, a key word we use there is corroborating evidence, and corroborating evidence will imply consistency. And I just want to draw your attention at some point, you're during this conversation, you say Kamajo police, which means not to be the regular forces inside the police, because even the IG at the time say, do you have to see anything of that nature? Because I'm not aware of the IG, which means that it wasn't the regular police force. But just hearing you say the police again. Is there not an inconsistency there to people away keenly they listen to which you say, sir?
Anybody will wear soldier uniform.
Yeah.
A soldier. Madam.
Okay, until proven otherwise.
Soldier, anybody will wear police uniform. Na police. Whose kind police be na secondary.
Right. Okay.
Na police.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Deveaux. So you managed for escape. Now we know the story. There are millions of people who not know actually waiting how you managed for escape, because when policemen don't grip you so, or so-called police don't grip you so, it then becomes a problem, because from that place they didn't try for restrain you. Now we know say it was as a result of not wearing face mask, like riot gear or protest gear, and then the tear gas make everybody run in different directions. So you'll be able for bit God and fend your way, to some safe sanctuary. And this is 1 year on. So you escape 1 year on, and we understand say there was a bounty or a fine on your head. I think about 5 million leones. That's how serious, your government be take your case serious, that they put money on your head, say they want you. So anyway, you escape, because I don't know why up till now you haven't returned, here for answer questions, because we can easily say at the time, the tensions were so high. So first thing first, like you say, which direction do you expect me to run to? Do I go to the police who just buckle me, assault me, or do I go to the safest place? Why, yes, you run, but 1 year on, you still haven't returned, here to answer these allegations against you. You almost sound like a fugitive, or look like a fugitive, a man running away from justice.
I never run away from justice.
Okay.
I stand stoutly for defend my right to human dignity. Let me tell you, due process in granting every citizen equal protection under the law require that you don't conduct sufficient investigation on an individual for declare him wanted, to an extent of putting a bounty on him, which means you already have a case against him. And how can you have a case against me when you've never invited me for interrogation? One day question me, and up till now, you deliberately refuse for provide me party and even me solicitor with what evidence you be get against me will make you declare me wanted.
Are you scared?
No. Scared for what? Scared for what?
And because all of the extenuating circumstances where you don't create, it will give people the impression like the environment is not healthy enough for, for able to get something fair or some kind of a justice. This is what I mean, like whether you are.
No, I am not scared, but it is no secret. it is no secret that freedom of expression in Sierra Leone is in the gutters. It is no secret that government is doing everything possible and within its reach to muzzle free expression. So that's not the issue. The issue here is declaring me wanted and putting a price tag on my head meant that the police had already criminalized me. And if you criminalize me and I decide to present myself to you, then it means I agree with you that I am a criminal. Because I don't agree with you that I am a criminal, my party had always insisted that the police should rescind the wanted declaration. That what Tokodem is saying, a wanted man, una go pull am. That 5 million una put na head, una pull am. Then if una want am, we as a party will present am. The police has refused to do it.
Right.
Is it that as simple as that? Because it's two things. Is wanted, what evidence do you have presented to us to warrant you, the police, to declare the National Publicity Secretary of the main opposition party wanted? That's not just an insult to my human dignity. It's an insult to the collective integrity and conscience of the All People's Congress. So do you think the APC would have succumbed to that insult by marching me like a sheep to the slaughterhouse?
Wow.
No. The APC, in protecting its integrity, has always insisted that police take this 5 million and bounty off, and if you want him, we'll present him to answer questions. If you cannot, present to us what evidence you have against him. After all, I am entitled to an attorney, to a legal representation. Even in my absence, I need not be there for the police to tell my party what evidence they have against me. I need not be there for the police to tell my attorney what evidence they have against me. No, I need not.
Okay. Sir, can you deal with this before I just move on? Because I think they come towards the end and we need to catch up with a few things quickly. Yeah, you've explained all of this. And a lot of people don't get a gist of the inside of what they go on. And it sounds like even though you are far away, there are conditions set both by yourself and your party and your legal representations or representatives in the country as to under which circumstances, you go come for answer whatever they get against you, which is one, you being the National Publicity Secretary for the largest opposition party, they can't just take a label and put it on your head and put a bounty on your head. It has to be removed and so forth and so on. So you're not a mean towards at all when it comes to the ruling party for probably certain reasons. But even though you look like a saint in this regard, the other side equally they make accusations, here towards you, which is you've been very obstructive. And they talk about in the collective, you've been very obstructive, and you're not giving, you hear all of them. What do you have to say to this, sir? Because we want to clarify certain things, because this is the thing. Even leading up, a good way you clarify from the beginning, because even leading up to the 31st of May, these were the things, that were going on in the background to which most people like us knew only a little or nothing about at all. Now, it make a stakeholder like you need for come on platforms regularly for let we they understand waiting at the reality. So they point fingers at you as well, say you've been obstructive, you don't want progress, now una they disturb, and the rest of it. What say you, sir?
Well, first of all, if you see we members of parliament then, we local councils there, they get issues or problems with the constituents then. Now because the constituents they feel say that they bend backward too much for the government. Not forget, a political party that is obstructive, a members of parliament them, no go support all of the policies that we government don't care go by the parliament, including a state of emergency without regulations. They don't support government, all their appointments them. They don't support government, all of them policies them. They don't support the ratification of government, them bilateral agreements them for funding, etc., etc. They don't support government both in the good and in the bad. So, as a party, we have been cooperative within the corridors of government. What we have always been adamant about and will continue to be adamant about are the recalcitrance of the government in not doing things that we constitutionally correct. We all know say the election of the speaker was a fraudulent process. Ala come, them beat 2 members of parliament them. African Union sent a mediating team. And one of the fundamental agreements was that we go back to a new election for a speaker. Would the government refuse, deliberately refuse for abide to? We see the government come, they say they want a commission of inquiry. We don't always insist that we are not against anything we good for promote the fight against corruption. We fully well support the fight against corruption. But however, the Constitution makes laws then way for guide the process of establishing commissions of inquiry. We raise issues because we thought it was wrong. And not we no more believe say wrong. Even the bar association, we are a guild of interpreters of the law, people in way the law na their own survival. Yeah. You know, the law na their own service. They raise issues. But the judiciary fail for list the matters then they for interpretation. And where the judiciary they fail for list important arguments then where they seek constitutional interpretation and clarification, it means that the judiciary they stall the process of growth because law they evolve.
Yeah, but Mr. Deveaux, with all due respect, sir, there will be accusations, you know, and if accusations have been treated, yesterday's accusers, you know, today stand to be the accused and vice versa. So now been the same kind of judiciary you've been get, and some cases, you know, you didn't see it through the judiciary. The long and short of it is not independent. So this is the same thing that is going through, and we need for come together for make sure say the judiciary becomes independent, or the 3 arms of government are functional, complementing each other, but independent. So this, I think, say, now the challenge going forward, sir. But like I say, yeah, well, you want to say something? Yeah.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
Another thing, say, not for be a situation where Coco they say, waiting the payams we nef no more. Because
yeah,
this government campaign on the ticket of change.
Yeah, that's critical.
They campaigned for a new direction. So I am not telling you what the APC was doing was right or wrong, but if you see what the APC was doing was wrong, then we expect you in your new direction drive to do something different.
Point taken, Cornelius, and that was critical. Thanks for that correction. You're absolutely right. It's a new direction, and thanks for that that update. Just for fast track, because we get the last minutes into the program, I want to keep to my word to you. Obviously, series of things happen, and in the most recent one, we see Pademba Road, the correctional prison. We see and understand to some extent waiting actually happened there, because tapes were out, statements were made both by government officials and others, non-state players or actors. And it took the president days for letting the president come out and address such a serious security breach. Now, a maximum security prison, which is just a few miles away from the official office or the sitting of government. Many people not take kindly to that. And the reaction of the security forces to that particular incident day. But when the president finally come out for speak, a lot of people said it was disappointing, but to the president in supporters, that was like music in their ears. That was a very good thing, talk and do. And here comes the president, the very strict and disciplined president. What say you to all of them development and before we come to the Tumbo and other things then, please?
Well, first of all, the Pademba Wood incident is under investigation. And what we think say not correct. Now the fact that principal suspects that they're in charge of the investigation. So this, the leave we for conclude that nothing good no will come out of that investigation day, because we would have expected the government to have set up an independent body for conduct the investigation day. When there were allegations of political violence in the Southern Province during the term, former President Koroma established an independent commission, the name of the man, together with Sludge. These were all people who made up the commission. Sludge, Labour Congress, Interreligious Council. Government was not even represented in that commission.
Yeah.
So the outcome of the investigation will not be convincing, because already, like I said, principal suspects in the whole fiasco, because there are audios in public domain which have named names and which have described circumstances and scenarios,
yeah,
which, for all intent and purpose, could be tenable in a court of law. So if people who have been named in these audios are the very ones conducting the investigation, it leaves much to be desired.
Yeah.
So that's it with the issue of
Pademba Road.
Pademba Road.
Yep.
And When the president, it took the president days to address that critical issue. And not only that one. Don't forget, we also had violence outburst in Losar, in Tumbo, you know, in other parts of the country. And when at last the president decided to speak, instead of addressing the root cause it was best for him to brand the opposition APC as a terrorist group and responsible for all of those attacks and all of those violent events. And other people have clearly stated that the violence in Lusal has nothing to do with the APC. The violence in Tumbo has nothing to do with the APC. And from the audios in circulation, you will know that the prison, so-called quote-unquote prison break fiasco has nothing to do with the APC. So we see a president who repeatedly fails to address the issue of violence. And even in the State of the Nation address, disappointingly, the president did not address the issue of violence, which is of a very serious concern to every citizen in this country.
So, well, some will say the president did because he laid the blame squarely on your feet or your doorstep.
No, well, he did not in the State of the Nation address.
All right.
You see, interestingly, in the last paragraph of the State of the Nation address, the president called on all Sierra Leoneans for us to work together and let us put away the years of strife and hatred and work towards making Sierra Leone a better place that we can all be proud of. Ironically, while the government is making, the president is making that appeal, the conduct of his government, his party, and functionaries are re-echoing incidents of the yesteryears of strife and hatred. And the bells are very loud for all to hear. Even the deaf can hear the re-echoing of incidents of yesteryears of strife and hatred.
Yes, sir. Hello. Yeah.
So, yes, definitely.
That's correct. I told Mark, I'm sorry, Ruel. I told Mark.
We also see.
Yeah, Mark Robinson. I told him.
The president.
Please tell you. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. We also see the president in his statement also.
Sorry. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I have your attention, please?
Anyway. Yeah, this has been an interesting run anyway. Every good thing, you know, it does have to come to an end. But just before I let Mr. Cornelius Deveaux go, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic interview. Honestly, there's been so much said here, and I'm sure we came with different opinions and we are going to leave with a different opinion. We came not knowing, we will be leaving, you know, knowing. This is my final question to you, Mr. Deveaux. Obviously, with all said and done, what hope you get for your country? Because the language the way you use, I kind of strong especially against, the sitting government. You don't mean she words at all, because how you see them, now so you call them. So how you see the country going forward, and most of you fans them and you people that will belong to your party, any optimism for 2023 in your opinion, sir? The last word is yours.
Well, thank you very much for giving me this last bite of a very sweet pudding.
Thank you.
I have enjoyed eating the pudding. And like he said, the last mondo, therefore make sure you keep on the last mondo. So I think something that happened critically 59 years after independence.
Yeah.
Sierra Leoneans did not seem able for learn from the 10-year war and also from the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation. Waiting, we see, we're very disheartening now the fact that Sierra Leoneans them were not able to sit down as Sierra Leoneans and resolve political differences. This now as a result of the fact that hypocrisy don't creep in deep, and for some reason they couldn't say no more, say it's Alex say they worship Shalom people for that they're not able for talk safe, even though they don't say the thing bad. For some reason, the country seemed quiet, very, very quiet, even though suffering not just they eat into the fabric of the society, but it pain everybody very heavily. But the good thing is, both government, the people, the opposition, all man they go to the international community for say, they are on a camp with this thing. So I think we have an opportunity now to go back to the drawing board.
Right.
Let us go back to the drawing board. We take a second look at the recommendations of the TRC. Sometimes, the time when they've been done the TRC reports, when they've been put on before government, then one them when I've been politician then 10 a day, and then one them when I've been government then 10 a day, perhaps they not been take time off for digest waiting actually na the recommendations of the TRC. But not forget, we have a new crop, a new generation of politicians now when they come. President Deveaux, the Napoleon, these now we contemporary. Now we all are the same generation, now we all are not too far, 10, 15 years within that gap, they were age group. So I expect, we forget a different orientation. So, but perhaps we orientation not different because we self not able to understand waiting at the recommendations contained in the TRC report. So therefore, we feel that we take time back now. Let us look at the TRC recommendations with seriousness. And let that be that sincerity and honesty of purpose. Yep. Let government do waiting constitutionally right. Yep. If the constitution say na ABCD for do before you set up commission of inquiry, do ABCD bar, let you see other than an APC will oppose you. Me not go oppose you. I will only become critical of the process for ensure say it becomes successful. But I'm not going to oppose you. because I know say you don't fulfill the constitutional provisions there were necessary for that. So it will be foolhardy on my own part to say I don't go oppose you. We need forget we international partners them for come again for help we reform the judiciary, don't we reform the police. There was a time in Sierra Leone where now a British man been the head of the police, and we all see the transformation will take place in the police. If after that British man they go, then we on black brother they take over, then we see say the police, if I don't take to poto to nana, then it means that we on black brothers they don't prove to we say they're not competent and capable for one such a sensitive institution. So no, she don't back. No go take with man back can put today, or if they are there where they're not capable, no pull them for people who will go put them way capable. Also, what's very important in a democracy now the safeguard of the aspirations of the people in the exercise of the vote. The way this government don't conduct itself, the way the Electoral Commission don't conduct itself, who suicide government minister, they destroy ballot box, bang bang day, who suicide because not to the ruling party win, then decide not for call the election results. For ask ECOWAS for conduct the 2023 election for me. And we will also ask ECOWAS with support from the United Nations for conduct the process of concluding the review of the 1991 Constitution, the referendum. And in that light, this civil registration where this government say they want to do for tamp out figures, the UNDP and ECOWAS, that they will want to do, not to them for do. So we feel say, as a party, can they talk to you? I'm National Publicity Secretary for the party. You know, and all this time, the party been telling me not for make no public statement, and then give me green light now for make public statement for commemorate this day, and henceforth, COVID-19 don't prove say you can be in the comfort of your home and you address any media, whether in Sierra Leone, whether out of Sierra Leone, wherever anybody in the world, from the comfort of where are they, in the hills overlooking Freetown, definitely I will be able to address any issue and articulate the party position. So I want to tell you thank you. You give me this opportunity, and I want to tell all APC people and thank you for continue to fly the flag high, and we believe see we are in red by a very civilized and democratic way by which we could express and continue to express with dissatisfaction with the state of affairs of the country. Thank you.
Yes, Famulem, we've come to the end of a very brilliant interview, I suppose, but Una will get for make the decision on herself. Obviously, the studio guest today and none other but the Publicity Secretary of the All People's Congress Party, Mr. Cornelius Deveaux. We understand, of course, not everybody get for agree with them, but you get for look at the substance, not just say no without listening, not just judge the book by the cover, read the contents. Many revelations here today, and I want to use the opportunity for say a big thank you to Mr. Cornelius Deveaux for giving this platform the opportunity for host an interview where the whole world will hear on this very platform. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great run, but as usual, every good thing must come to an end. So at this particular point in time, we've come to the end of this interview. And I want to thank you very much for listening and watching. And allow share the video, even if you don't agree. Remember, we are still the same people. We are one people, only one Sierra Leone, one country, one people. That's what we are. So thank you very much for listening. And God bless you now. God bless the country. Mr. Deveaux, thank you very much. So I'll play me closing music. Right.
This can make my memory the cultural show. Yeah. Those days. Yeah. I wish for them day they come back now country.